right now?
I just don't see any, excuse me, I don't see any positive outcome to any of this that's not something that we've already heard. I mean, we could arm the Kurds, but how many times have we armed people only to have those arms used against us? I mean, ISIS is using arms that we sent to Iraq that were then confiscated by ISIS in their recent advance. So arming the groups there that we have an interest in the short term usually bites us in the posterior in the long term. We're not going to put boots on the ground. It doesn't seem like there's an international force that's willing to do it. There don't seem to be any palatable options.
What about the argument the president always makes, to Andrew's point, that said how long till the Iraqi government gets their own act together here and puts up their own fighting force here to have you know this better than any of us.
But let's fall back. What are the interests of the United States in this situation? It's not in the United States' interest that a group like ISIS has this much control over land, space, material, and money in that part of the world. Full stop. Let's come up with a strategy then destroys.
Is there a viable one that doesn't involve U.S. troops on the ground?
I don't see it, and I don't think that is the worst possible case. For example, there's an airfield by Tel Afar, which is right close to where those refugees are. That is not under control right now of the Peshmerga of the Kurds. That needs to be back under our control. Why? That is the egress point for those refugees that are on that mountain right now. Everybody in the military knows it. There is a way to get them off if we decide to do it in a manner. And you could do it in a manner that wouldn't necessarily keep them there, that would create all other kinds of problems. That is a good example of using American hard power to solve this problem.
You've been very quiet tonight.
Well, I mean, look, this is a president who 6 or 7 months ago said ISIS was the JV. Yeah. I mean, he clearly has been behind the 8 ball on this for some time now. I mean, nobody wants to send troops back into Iraq. I get that. However, arming the Kurds, who have been pro-Western for a very, very long time, who have now taken over oil fields over in northern Iraq, who have made peace with Turkey. They are a perfect opportunity, as are the Ukrainians who are fighting the bad guys. We should be arming these people and letting them do the dirty work, let them fight, and not have American troops underground again. But again, this is a president who, look at the polls, say he is out of touch. He is now at a time when we have crisis after crisis around the world. Israel and Hamas going out on a daily basis. Ukraine fighting for their life against a nasty group of separatists over, out of Russia. He decides it's a good week to go on vacation. And I'm not against presidents going on vacation. Presidents need to be on vacation. But he had a press conference today that really told us nothing new. It seemed to be a press conference just to say, I'm on vacation, but let me just talk about this for a few minutes. We need leadership now in Washington. And these are very difficult problems that we are confronting. But when you're telling us that ISIS is, nothing to worry about, they're the JV, and 7 months later, they're holding a bunch of people hostage that are fighting for their lives, that quite frankly are the good guys in this battle, I think we're lost.
I got to say, Dom and Andrew, I don't disagree with a lot of things that Tom just said, but I also find it's very easy for any president in this scenario as global events out of our control are happening. But there isn't a I don't know what the mission statement of the administration is right now to the Middle East.
Hillary, she did, and also who is the standard bearer, who's the standard bearer of the Democratic Party coming up in the next election, who worked in this administration, basically just said he is out to lunch.
Well,
he has no policy. He basically said he has. I read the whole thing. That he has no policy, no cohesive policy moving forward.
I'll only say this.
That's scary.
She clearly doesn't care what the left flank thinks of the Democratic Party.
I don't know about that.
Well, no, if you read the piece, she made it clear that she's going to do, if she were in there, what she would do. I don't know. I do find it, though, problematic. I don't know from one week to the next what he feels about Syria.
Okay,
and if it's of the national interest or not.
This president, how did he go from being a little unknown state senator in Illinois to the Democratic nomination? How did he beating Hillary Clinton along the way?
He ran to the left of Hillary.
No. What's the one issue that catapulted him from the bottom to the top?
Right.
And so this president that ran on a guarantee of ending the wars now is supposed to get Americans back into another one.
No, Dominic, he said, and Biden said in 2012 that all is peaceful and safe and we've done our job and Iraq's in good hands. That's what they told us, but it wasn't in good hands. And 6 or 7 months ago, ISIS, which is
He
a
said a
national
little
threat,
differently that time.
but-
He said at a certain point Iraq has to manage its
and
own
we
country.
and there's,
But
and there's
how did
no
America
question
get in
and there's no
Iraq?
question that they have to do
How
that.
did
Well, let's not get into that one. I gotta hit the
Don,
break
I'll
here.
argue.
Well, we don't wanna
I'll
get-
argue that point
Yeah.
till we go home. It's always good to look back now when 9/11
Did Obama have something to do
when
with America
All right.
getting in
It's
Iraq?
Guys,
always easier to
before they
look
hijack
back.
this thing, I want to tell the audience, please, as always, be a part of the conversation. Head over to Facebook and Twitter and sound off on our question. Do Iraq airstrikes feel like mission creep? And do you think that, hey, situations on the ground dictate a different situation in reality that we need to do more here for Iraq? Or do you say, I'm sorry, bad as it is, we've done our share and more? Okay. When we come back, we will switch gears. We're going to head over to Missouri, where the community simmering tonight after a night of both looting and rioting following the police-related death of an unarmed black teen here. Sound familiar? The shooting comes on the heels of a similar situation in Staten Island with Eric Garner, where Reverend Sharpton is now prepared to march for justice, as they call it, to help cripple de Blasio's administration, some wonder. We'll get into all that after this. But Mike, as always, thank you so much for tonight. We'll be right back, everybody.